Hey everybody, so Brian here. This is a video that's not like a normal video from the point of view of, it's not like really a review, it's just a walk around. I don't really know much about this type of a car. I wish I knew more about them, but it's very, very rare I get to sell a car like this. This is for a really good customer that has always had kind of fast-ish cars over the years, but he's really gotten bananas this time. And he's gone for this A45s, which is an amazing car. Anyway, that car, I'm just going to run around, and it's more for the customer because he hasn't seen the car yet, so I just want to run around some of the features on the car and the spec that he's ordered before he travels up to pick up the car, because you know it's important that we all have the same idea of what he's ordered. Anyway, so I'm just going to show some of the features on the outside and the inside of the car. I won't drive this car, no way, because it's not my car, but more importantly it's a special car, so it needs to be treated that way. Anyway, one thing I want to just like, so this really cool thing on the engine where the person that's handcrafted the engine puts a signature on it, like that is such a nice detail. So I think the car is around 440 horsepower. So this is A45s 4MATIC Plus. Simple things like on the outside, because I know he likes styling. So looking at the car on the front, big grille that is very, very nice, and it really stands out. I like things like just the little AMG badge in through here. One thing I noticed on it, actually, a lot of these cars sometimes, like the normal versions, they have just, you know, a big vent in through there, and most cars you look at on the road will. This one actually has ventilation that's got airflow moving in back to some, well, a radiator on the other side actually. So this one's blocked, this one, other one, so obviously that's some sort of air passage for air going into the engine. The headlights are very, very nice, with a big LED setup for fulls and dips, and the parking, and the daytime running light. It looks like it's the parking assist features along through there. These wheels, I actually thought they were going to be like a darker grey, but they're more of a graphite colour. So I've spoken to him and he was aware that I wasn't. These brakes are absolutely ridiculous. So these massive rotors and calipers, and this is like a dark grey. It looks like a black, but it's more like a graphite kind of grey colour with the silver lip all the way around. They're a 245 3519, and they are a Continental, I think. I like this badge on the grille, so 4MATIC Plus Turbo. And then this one, he did order keyless entry. So now I'm going with a one-shot video here rather than kind of, normally I do, well, I try and make them a bit more nice looking, but this one's literally kind of one shot walk around. So lock the car, unlock the car, which is exactly like what he has already. Oh sorry, put your hand in. So yeah, very, very same as the other car that he has already. Fine. The spoiler, there is a bit of a lip, but it's tiny, and I know you didn't want a big kind of, so there is like some sort of pack where you can get canards on the front bumper and a big spoiler on the back. I'm much more into this, much nicer, much more subtle, and that's what he wants, something that's really, really subtle. It's hard to be subtle when you got two pipes either side that say AMG on them, and a big diffuser down through there as well. But like to be fair, right, if you look at that car, okay, I'm just going to close the door for a sec, at a real glance, like it's super fat. Like, okay, look at the arches, so they are fatter arches than what you'd have in a normal A-class. But you could, if you weren't into cars, walk past that car and glance at it real quick and not know the significance of what it is if you're not into cars. If you're into cars, you'll know. If you're like me or anyone that's watching these, they probably will know. Like, again, along through here, there's nice piano black finish along here, but it makes it fatter looking on the front bumper. I like the fact it's not silver. This is kind of the same colour as the, so it's mountain grey, I think is what it's called. I like the badging up through here. But I really like this because it's kind of like old style sort of look, the way Mercedes used to be years ago. But at a real glance, as you walk past the car, that's what's cool about it. Like, there's fat arches. If you're into cars, you'll know there's something special about it. But if you're not into cars, you can literally pull up and someone mightn't even know. Probably at the back, it's a little bit harder to hide that. So when you look at the back, the pipes really sort of, okay, they do sort of give it away. And I think that's cool anyway. So, nice and symmetrical looking, big A45s badge. There is going to be lots of people that are going to pull up behind this car at a traffic light that are into cars and they are going to crap themselves when they see it. And they'll roll down the window and see the giant noise out of it, and then they're going to drive up behind him and see will he drive it on. And he won't. He probably won't, because he likes the car for how it looks, likes what it's potentially able to do, but not for messing. He's really good at looking after a vehicle. I've left all this stuff on it on purpose, just so for protection while ourselves and truck drivers and all that stuff. I know, look, it's really low tech stuff, but okay, starting the car. Okay, unfortunately you will end up with so it's impossible to be subtle on this car. And then over here, comfort. So you got a slippery setup, individual, comfort, sport, sport plus, and the exhaust tone changes. So, but like, do you know what? You buy a car like this, you do want it to do something. It's not super noisy, but when you start it, so like compared to the Honda Civic that he has, which is a 1.5 with the pipes, you know, there's a bit of a hum off it when you start it. This is a little bit more significant, so everyone is going to be able to hear that the car has got a slightly louder exhaust when it starts, but not in a ridiculous way. Definitely not in a ridiculous way. And just from moving it around the yard, you know, it's not an excessive sort of sound. I realise this video is probably dragging on a bit longer than I thought it was. They are nice LED taillights while I'm back here, and then obviously that A45 badge. So there's some sort of automatic choke setup that keeps the revolutions a little bit higher, maybe because it's cold, but it's dropped down there. And at a glance, to be fair, there's a bit of sound, but there's not that much. There's not too much. The windows, he's specified to have privacy glass on the rear, which they are. Nothing really unusual in the boot. It's like any A-Class in the boot. It is manual lift. There is AMG mats. I doubt there's a spare wheel. Nope. So puncture repair kit. And then for closing down. But there is a camera. They look like they're LED, so they'll be quite nice. And I presume they're all LED as well. I must check those indicators. So they're a nice LED, and the taillights are a nice LED too. Like I said, there is a small lip. That's actually an additional spoiler. So it looks like a normal A-Class has this, and then that lip comes as part of it. Isn't it funny? Do you know what? If I saw that on a normal A-Class like diesel, I would think it's really cheap and tacky. But because I know it's an A45 and I know it's got function, I know it's a really mean, fast car, now it actually makes a lot of sense to me. Anyway, that's a real internal perception thing. Even the brakes on the back, they are absolutely gigantic. I guarantee, I know that one of the first cars he had was a fast car, which was a Honda Civic VTI. Those brakes are probably nearly as big as the wheels that were on that car back in the day. So the seats have this kind of molded effect. It is, what's it called? I brought the spec sheet with me because I'm unaware of some Mercedes stuff. So what is it? Artico two-tone Neva Grey. Probably said that wrong. I've probably destroyed that name. Someone's probably shouting at the screen going, "You imbecile." There is drinks holders and some storage, and I like the way the seats then, the headrest is kind of integrated into the seat. So it has that kind of two-tone effect, which is sort of like one of the other cars he has at home at the moment. And then over here, that's kind of cool, the way the handle is, the way you hold on to it. Yeah, actually, do you know what? I think I know why that's like that, because if you're sitting in the back of one of these cars, you actually need somewhere to grab onto if someone's driving really spiritedly, which I'm not saying he's going to. Ambient lighting in through there, usual electrics over through there, nothing majorly unusual. And then there is the scuff guards that I think he specified. Okay, they're on the front, and then nice aluminium pedals, lovely cardboard floor mat. Obviously that's going to change. This moves backwards and forwards. Yes, you did specify 4-way lumbar for your back, and then that's for letting the seat up and down. The passenger does get some lumbar, but not quite as much. Or do they? Oh, they do actually. Sorry, my bad. They do actually. I see more ambient lighting. Do I? No, sorry, that's reflecting off my camera. So that's coming off the door and down along through there, and you can change all those colours and all that kind of stuff as well. So ambient lighting. Sorry, ambient lighting. 4-way power adjuster seat in through there as well. It's an awesome car. Really, really awesome. I love it. I love the way that that's kind of piano black along through there, and then the pipes just come out. It is super cool. Super, super, super cool. Heated seat. I'm unfamiliar, so I could list off all this stuff, but the problem is I don't want to list it off and then kind of go, I don't know what that is, because there's going to be some stuff and I don't know what it is, and I'll have to find out and learn about it. You got this AMG ride control, which you specified. And then you got this AMG ride control, which you specified. And then you got this AMG ride control, which you specified. And then you got this AMG ride control, which you specified. And then you got this AMG ride control, which you specified. And then you got this AMG ride control, which you specified. And then you got this AMG ride control, which you specified. And then you got this AMG ride control, which you specified. And then you got this AMG ride control, which you specified. And then you got this AMG ride control, which you specified. And then you got this AMG ride control, which you specified. And then you got this AMG ride control, which you specified. And then you got this AMG ride control, which you specified. And then you got this AMG ride control, which you specified. And then you got this AMG ride control, which you specified. And then you got this AMG ride control, which you specified. And then you got this AMG ride control, which you specified. And then you got this Okay, so that changes obviously the dynamic settings of, I presume, the dampers. Traction control. Okay, this is obviously settings for the gearbox maybe? I don't know, I'll have to figure this out. I'd have to learn about this car. So these are just normal settings you'd find on a lot of high-end Mercedes. Okay, grand. This is touchscreen. So there's a little home button somewhere. I presume we go, yeah, I can touch that there. It's nice actually, the resolution on the screen is quite nice and it's easy to use. While we're at it, we'll go for reverse. I'll turn off that indicator. How cool are they? So they look really, really cool. It idles at about 800 RPM. Am I in park? I am. Yeah, very cool. And then we'll bring her back into like a normal sport. See the way it's changing over there. So put on, that must be like an ice setting, an individual setting, a comfort setting, a sport setting, Sport Plus. You can really hear the exhaust change tone at Sport Plus. Race, not so much different. So I'd say Sport Plus and race. But again, you can individualize this whichever way you want anyway. Idling at around 730 actually. Once I'm gone back into cold, individual, idling at 730. Right, actually it idles pretty low. Then again, maybe it doesn't. There's some settings over here, like, but that's a little screen. See the way it works? So changing stuff up there, and then I presume this is traction control on and off. So that's going to be relevant to some really spirited driving. So this one here seems to change. No, that's not, okay. Okay, I'm being an idiot here now. Right, so I presume, yeah, you can have a rev counter. Oh wow, there is so much you can change with this. Holy crap. So, okay, now, wow. I'm a bit lost here. I need to get better at using this screen, but I'm touching that. And then this one here, I'm touching that there. So it's pretty intuitive when you think about it. Left, right. And we talked about these already. Now there is a ton of stuff I'm leaving out. I just want to see what else we specify. The AMG ride control, we talked about that. Tinted windows, we talked about that. Keyless go, we talked about that. The wheels we talked about. Automatic front passenger bag. Oh no, sorry, four-way lumbar we talked about. And the AMG design trims and all that kind of stuff, we talked about that. So that's pretty much everything that was specified, I think, on the spec sheet. Do you know what's lovely? This material, so it's leather, and then it has that suede down through there. There's these massive paddles either side. Black roof cloth. And this mouse pad then, I presume that, oh, there's a home button there. That's definitely going to take a bit of getting used to. But to be fair, I have to say, kind of makes sense the way it works. I'll find out more for you. Dynamic settings can be changed. So there's lots of quick ways of, yeah, okay, so there's multiple ways of doing things. I can do it here, I can do it here, I can probably do it there. This is going to be super layery when it comes to the amount of settings that you have on the car. Let's see. Dynamic select, wow. Okay, so you are not going to be bored. That is 100% sure. You will not be stuck for things to do. Anyway, I hope you like it. I think it's cool. It's definitely one of the coolest cars I've ever sold, that is for sure. And I'm really happy that he's decided to go for it, because this man loves cars and he actually wanted to buy a Civic Type R. So that was going to happen. He's had, like I said, VTI Civics. If you know me or the cars I'm into, then you'll know from years ago that's what I used to be into, and he had one for a long time, EK hatch. Then he had some turbo Civics, and they said, feck it, I'm going to go bananas here and buy a Civic Type R when they brought in the Sport line, which was the one without the big spoiler. And I totally get that. It had smaller wheels, it had a lower spoiler, and it actually looked a bit more mature. That car, by the time we went to order, it wasn't available, so we had to reassess and just leave it. So that was it, left it for a while. He hadn't done anything about it, and then one day he said, you know what about one of those A45s? I genuinely did not think at that point he was going to go through with it. So I said, look, it's a crazy car, but it's a crazy car, it's what he wanted. So, and that's what he got, but in a good way, in a much more subtle way. You can be an adult with a car like this and nobody knows the difference, but if you're into cars, if you know, you know. Anyway, it's a long video, but hopefully customer's happy. And if you've watched the whole lot of it, then hopefully you think it's a cool car. I most certainly do. Savage. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you like it.